Charlie T. So Charlie is he's undecided as far as what he's going to do. As a result of him becoming a really good player, he's now contemplating playing golf in college, which I think he should. I mean, he's a wonderful, wonderful young man. I got a call last spring from Jason Jacket, who used to be one of the coaches. He was one of the teachers at CC, and someone who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. And he said, "Mike, do me a favor." He goes, "I don't know how Charlie plays, but just keep him on the team." And I said, "Jay, no problem. He's on the team." And little did I know that Charlie was good last year, and he's a fantastic student, and he worked incredibly hard in the off season and became a really good player. I remember our first tryout this year was miserable. It was 35 degrees and the wind's blowing 30, and I can't stand having them come out, but we don't have a choice. They're out on the course, and I remember going home that night, and I'm going through all the cards and looking at all the scores, and I think Charlie shot 4 under, and it was just 9 holes, but I think he shot 32. And I called him that night, and I'm like, "Is this right?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Holy smokes, I didn't see that coming." But he had a good year. He shot a lot of low scores, and his improvement from his junior senior year was as much as anybody else on the team. And in all my time coaching, one of the coolest things that I witnessed, and we've had a lot of neat things happen. All the great golf that was played and all the great places that was stayed and all the tournaments that we won. But Charlie, who is, I think he wants to play college golf, right? And so there's a lot of pressure on him because he doesn't realize that he's already established himself as a college golfer. And they're too young to understand that, in the gravity of that. And so you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and you want to play well in a big event, and state finals is a big event. And the first day of state finals, if you weren't there, was unbelievable. It was some of the most difficult conditions that I've ever seen. The wind blew, steady at 25 and gusted up to 40, and it was a really difficult day. And if on days like that, when you don't have your best stuff, golf is hard, as Mike said earlier, and it just kind of kicks you in the teeth. And Charlie had a rough day and shot, his worst score of the year. But and we knew that we knew that he was struggling. We knew that there's a lot of emotion tied to that. And I wish people could have seen the way that he handled himself and the way that he conducted himself on the golf course. It certainly made all of us coaches proud. I know that it made his family proud. But in my 14 years, the coolest thing that I've ever seen in the CC golf program was, so Charlie finished on the 16th green, and I was over on the 17th tee by myself, crying, which I do a lot, as you can see tonight. But I'm over there, and I know, and my heart's just breaking for Charlie, because I know, how badly he wanted to play well, and he just didn't have it that day, and that happens. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. We're all going to shoot 85 again. It's just how golf works. But so I'm over there on the 17th tee, and Charlie finishes and puts the pin in, and he goes up and takes his hat off, and he shakes the hands with his playing competitors, and he walks off the green. When he walks off the green, his dad, Joe, his father walks up to him and hugs him, but like the greatest hug ever. And I'm watching it from the 17th tee, which is probably 30 yards away, and I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself how amazing this moment is for me, right? And it made me happy because no matter, I mean, they held each other and it was hard and there was just so much love and passion there. It was just such a cool thing for me to witness. And, obviously Charlie's upset. But anyway, so now we finish. We got to go up to the clubhouse. Charlie just plays his worst round of the year, state finals. I have to go and tell him that he's not going to play the next day because we have the ability to switch players out. And he just wasn't on top of his game, and it wouldn't have been fair because there was other players playing as well or better. So I had to switch him out, which for me as a coach was so difficult because, again, he's a senior, he so badly wants to be there and play and contribute, but it wasn't meant to be. So now, fast forward 2 hours, and this is the part that was pretty special for me, is now we fast forward 2 hours and we're back at the house. And I don't know Mr. and Mrs. T very well, other than the handful of banquets and the times they're on the golf course to say hello. But so we get back to the house. I take a shower. I walk into the kitchen, and one of the other parents says to Joe, he says, "How's Charlie doing?" And Joe's back us to me. And Joe says, "Charlie's going to be fine." He said, to be honest, he said, what happened today on the golf course, and this is Joe talking, was one of the most special moments of my life. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Charlie, but he said, had Charlie have played average or even well, that wouldn't have happened. And that interaction between father and son and Joe and Charlie wouldn't have happened. But your dad, he said that was one of the most special moments of his entire life, right? And so, again, I walk out of the kitchen back in my bedroom and start crying, but Joe, I didn't tell you that I heard that, but just the way that it all played out for me, witnessing it on 17T, and then that happening at the house, I'll never forget that, and it was special, and the love, we all love our kids, right? But I knew that no matter what happens, and this is really what I want to convey to you, is that, golf is hard and life is hard, but when you have love and passion like that and support, but you're always going to be okay. So whatever happened, it happened, and I know that you have the mindset that you're just going to move on and continue playing and better days ahead. So I love you, and I really think the world of you, and I wanted everybody to hear that because, again, in my 14 years, I'm glad it happened. I mean, I'm not glad you shot 87, but I'm glad you shot 87, right? I mean, truthfully. So,